Sterling Holmes of Fansided and Stacking the Box, joined now by two-time Iron Man and Steelers legend Merril Hoge. Merril, how are you?
Sterling, I'm good, brother.
Good. And you have a badass setup back there. I mean, that is
I know.
incredible.
Listen. I think everybody they like to enjoy tailgate or even a home gate. And one of I think the best ways to start it or the key, you got to watch the game, right? So this LG OLED B4 TV, okay, that's a 65 inch. I could just leave it right there. That the picture is incredible. They go up to 83 inches, but the 8 million self-lit pixels tells you why that picture is so incredible. So when you're outside, no problem. Crystal clear picture for the game, and then the Dolby sound. You want to be able to hear things when you're outside tailgating. Incredible sound, and you're gonna love this. $1,400 off of selected sizes. So go look at them, pick yourself up one. Got to have something that powers it the entire day. Okay, this is actually not a cooler. This is the Jackery. Okay, tailgate, home gate. This is what you need. The Jackery 1000 D2. This thing powers all day. You go overtime, you're okay. You got the solar panel that comes with it, just so you can do the music, the grill, the phone, the TV, the whole thing for the entire day, I remind you. Charged with that solar panel, just so you have the insurance. Use code HOMEGATING at jackery.com, $200 off of the regular price. Go pick you one up. This is incredible. Then you got to eat. Sonic has the new double Sonic Smasher. That's these boys right here. Look delicious. Hand smashed, made to order. Angus beef. I tell people all the time, I think it's easier to buy them than make them, especially like that. You can't make them like that. Absolutely delicious. And then the Cricket Joy Extra. Okay, it made this. This is the little box. This tiny little thing right here cuts up to 50 materials, vinyl, cardstock, and iron-ons. Like I said, it made this koozie, fits in a small space. You don't need a big room for it. Coasters. It's really a game changer as far as logos, players, name decals. You can make all kinds of things up, wear shirts like this with your name on it. It's absolutely a fun tool to use and build things for your game day party. So you put this all together, whether it's a game, like it's a home gate or a tailgate, you're going to have an awesome time for your team.
Oh, I know all about that cricket right there. My fiance and I, we're engaged, obviously. We're getting married, and so
Yeah,
she loves
awesome.
that thing. That all weddings
They're
and playing that
amazing.
cricket is phenomenal. By the way, Merril, you're looking great too. Come on now. Looks like you could still go out there
Well,
and play. I am
Sterling,
a
I
little
could. They just can't hit me.
well, that's a good rule right there then.
Yeah,
Flag football. Merril Hoge,
there you
flag
go.
football. There we go, Olympic style. I am a little disappointed though. No short tie. What happened with the short tie?
Well, it wasn't going to work with the ambiance. I mean, I couldn't do this and this. I had to make a choice, and so when they made this for me, I was like, that's cool. I didn't even know it could make that. I thought it was stuff like this, your koozies, your coasters. I didn't realize it did all of this. So I was like, you got to sport that.
Well, as you're rocking the Steelers shirt right now, let's talk about the Steelers for a second here. They have this QB
Okay.
battle that's still happening into the season. How hard is that for a locker room to try and rally behind a guy? Because going in, they go, okay, yeah, Russ is our guy. He's our leader. And now all of a sudden, it's Justin Fields, at least for a couple games. How difficult is that?
Well, I think it's only difficult if you make it difficult. I've been in scenarios like that. The guy who is in charge or has the starting role, I mean, he acts like your leader. And as long as he acts like your leader, then you're fine as a team. And, the head coach has some responsibility in that and setting the standard for how you're going to operate as a team. And then, the type of leadership that you have in that locker room, is critical. And they have a lot of it on the defensive side, TJ Watt. They got Highsmith, Hayward. They got guys that have been around and are good leaders in the locker room. So I think they have the footers and the principles that it's not going to be a factor whoever starts at quarterback.
In regards to Mike Tomlin, I think he's one of the most impressive head coaches in the NFL, never finishing under 500. Like, this blows my mind, the consistency he has had. Now, obviously, some Steelers fans have been a little concerned about the trajectory, not necessarily going a whole bunch of 12-5s recently. But what are you making of the job that Mike Tomlin's done in Pittsburgh?
Well, listen, you can't argue the obvious. People say, well, he hasn't won a Super Bowl, won a playoff game, for a long time after really Bill's players, but Bill Cowher's players. And at the end of the day, he's been a terrific leader and they've won games, and they've never been out of it. And they always have an opportunity to knock on that door. And that's ultimately the key. Do you want to eventually knock down the door, win a playoff game, and win another Super Bowl? There's no doubt. I guarantee you this, that Mike Tomlin wants that more than anybody. He wants that more than any fan wants that. He wants it more than the Rooneys want that, so. And having worked there actually last year and to watch him operate, they'll keep knocking on that door. Eventually, you keep knocking on the door, you knock the door down.
When you look at the landscape of the NFL today compared to when you played, 30 years ago, what do you think the biggest differences are? Because there's been a lot of changes.
Well, there's changes within the game itself, which actually, people have misunderstood the game. I helped actually clean the game up. And what the foundation was is let's go back to cleaning it up and getting rid of the things that don't exist in football that we don't practice. Okay, so what do we do practice? Proper tackling, proper blocking. And that's how the foundational operation was established. Let's go back and make sure, since you're the best in the world, that you tackle properly, that you don't throw your elbow, you don't lead and launch. You don't need those type of things that are, first of all, harmful to the person doing it and to yourself. So it really helps the game become better and safer. From one thing I think that's changed the most is the actual how good teams are across the board. When I first played, there was like 4 or 5 teams that were, okay, you just knew there was going to be those at the end. Nowadays, everybody has a really good shot. There could be up to 20 of the 32 teams have a legitimate shot to win the Super Bowl. And I think that parity is good for fans. It's good for the game. There's not just 5 teams that keep showing up every year. That continually gets to change. I mean, obviously Kansas City has a dominance right now, which is special from a lot of perspectives, because when free agency came around, I thought most players and organizations thought that would never happen again. So for teams to do that speaks volumes to those teams and organizations, how they've adjusted to the changes in our league.
Before I let you go, I do want to know just a little more about you being the Iron Man, back-to-back seasons, 89 and 90 with the Steelers. How much pride do you take in that?
Well, a lot, Sterling, because the one thing I loved about Steeler Nation and the fan base in Pittsburgh is I was always intrigued by, they know if you give everything you got. They want you to win. Sure, they got 4 Super Bowls in 6 years. They've got 6 total. They want winners. But they respected people that gave everything they had. And then as I got to understand the people in the community, because they give everything they have. So that's all they ask. Just give us everything you got. And if you do that, they love you, and there's a great respect there. That's why, I love the fan base here. And in that same year, I made the All Madden team. And everybody who knows John Madden, if John Madden selects you on his team, that's better than a Pro Bowl, by far. It was one of the greatest compliments I've ever had as a football player, those combination awards that people recognize that, and still humbled by that.
Merril Hoge, Merril, Steelers legend. And again, all Madden selection right there. John Madden's one of his favorites. Got to say it's one of Madden's favorites then. Merril, really appreciate it.
Sterling, thanks, buddy.